Hey guys, what's going on? James here. We're looking at yet another top 30 visit that was made for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, this list was compiled by Scott Reynolds over at pewterreport.com, and it is Malachi Corley getting a top 30 visit from Orange City, Florida. So he is a Florida boy, went to college at Western Kentucky. 5'11", 215 pounds, will eventually be a plus starter according to NFL.com. And he gets comparisons to Deebo Samuel, which, is very interesting. I think you take a look at that comparison and the recent hiring of Liam Cohen as offensive coordinator, West Coast style kind of guy. Maybe he does want to get his own style of a Deebo Samuel in the mix. He saw a lot of Deebo Samuel when Liam Cohen was with the Rams. For years and years, whenever the Rams would play the 49ers, he would have to see Deebo Samuel. Now, it might be a possibility that the Bucs could get their own Deebo Samuel. Again, 5'11", 215 pounds. No registered stats from the combine, which is very interesting, but we take a look at his overall stats during his time at Western Kentucky. He did play all 4 years there, which I think is a very cool thing to see. You typically don't see a lot of college football guys spend all 4 years at a university anymore. So shout out to Malachi Corley for doing that. But in 2021 was when he started to get some gameplay going. 691 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns. Things really blew up in 2022. 1,295 receiving yards and 11 receiving touchdowns as well. Then in 2023, he had 984 receiving yards and 11 receiving touchdowns. One thing that is pretty interesting, which doesn't really line up a ton with the Deebo Samuel comparison, is not a lot of rushing attempts here. He only had 15 in 2022 and 2023 combined, and only adding 1 from 2021 as well. Now, I understand that Deebo Samuel's gone through a lot of different things with his career, where he was used in a lot of creative ways, basically as a half running back, half wide receiver during his early time with the 49ers, and that has essentially shifted as he has gotten a new contract and has, really changed what the 49ers have used him as. But we take a look at the overview here, talking about a big physical wideout who, yes, did get a heavy workload here. Again, had 259 receptions in 4 years with Western Kentucky. That's a pretty big workload. But you take a look at Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel getting comparisons as prospects as well. So a lot of West Coast 49ers guys getting comparisons here. You have a West Coast offensive coordinator now in Liam Cohen, and you take a look here, consider him as a day 2 selection and a future starter. So could the Buccaneers be interested in him at, say, round 2 or round 3? Let's be, let's say round 2. Let's say best case scenario for the Bucs. You have to get Malachi Corley in round 2. Is that something the Buccaneers would consider? And they also have 2 third-round draft picks as well. I would say it's possible. I mean, why not? I talked about Keon Coleman in the idea of drafting a wide receiver early. Does that feel like more of a luxury pick? But the Buccaneers now have an extra third rounder from the Carlton Davis trade, which I feel like is very huge. It helps you be able to address needs in the earlier rounds more. That's just how it is. You can get an interior offensive lineman in round 3. You can get an edge defender in round 1, and maybe you can make a luxury pick at wide receiver in round 2 in Malachi Corley if you want to. Again, those stats are very impressive, and I like the idea of a wide receiver room of Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Malachi Corley, and Trey Palmer. That's a good group, and if this guy is getting comparisons to Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and is graded to be an eventual plus starter, would easily be the future of the Bucs at wide receiver after Chris Godwin, and look, eventually Mike Evans, whenever their time in Tampa Bay is done as well. Malachi Corley and Trey Palmer could be 2 of those guys that you view as the future of the wide receiver position. So it's going to be interesting. So far, though, the Bucs have 2 wide receivers as top 30 visits. They are pretty interested in some of the top wide receivers. Not obviously the top guys, but some of these guys that are going to be available around their picks. So let's pay attention to it. Are they going to get some new weapons for Liam Cohen at OC and Baker Mayfield at quarterback as well, which is very important? Is this maybe an indication that this upcoming season is going to be Chris Godwin's last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? I don't know. It's just some interesting questions that have arisen when I've been looking at these lists. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about Malachi Corley down in the comments section below. I would love to hear it. Do you like him as a prospect? Do you think it's a bit of a luxury? Let me know. What do you think about his stats as well? Dude got so much work at Western Kentucky. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.